the bottom of the deck is this Nine of Swords. So, and I believe I'm decided to read. I mean, I always read reversals because I just look at the cards and the surrounding cards and figure out um, which meaning it is. So it's not that I don't necessarily read reversals, but I don't know. I just usually turn them around and then just go with the feeling. But I decided, whatever, just to keep the reversals this month. So Nine of Swords is like coming out of a time where you've really allowed your thoughts, and I do say, and people will fight me on this, allowed your thoughts to spiral out of control, usually negatively with fear and worry and obsessing about something. And so being reversed and being at the bottom of the deck, coming out of that cycle of events where you're up at night, you're going to try to worry a situation into a solution, worry a solution into happening. And finding that really just isn't serving you, that isn't helping you, that isn't going to solve anything. It's just going to drain you of your energy. It's going to drain you because you're not sleeping. It's going to physically, mentally, and emotionally harm you, bring your vibration down. If you're into that type of stuff, it's just not healthy in any way. Now, of course, there are situations that, if you lose someone or, that, of course, you're not going to just be like, oh, it doesn't bother me that my father died. So clearly I'm not talking about that type of a situation, but I'm talking about you're up at night worrying about things that happened when you were 12, or worrying about things that happened 5 years ago, or even worrying about things that are happening now, where if you can get the perspective, which Junk Boy here is all about, and look at it in a different way, and just like, okay, is this going to matter in a day, a month, a week, a year, whatever? No. Okay, so let it go. Let it go. What are you getting out of obsessing about this? Like, what is the point? Why can't you let it go? Why have we trained our brains to have to? Somehow I think, and I don't know, like, is worrying about it going to solve it? It's not. And I think we decided that we can't control that, but we can be more disciplined with our thoughts. We can focus on positive or negative. We can worry or have gratitude and be appreciative of what we did have. We can be forgiving that we're human and learn from our mistakes and move forward instead of holding on to all that negativity. And that's what the Chariot comes in, and it's just like, I am no longer being reactive, and that's that Knight of Swords in reverse. Like, I'm no longer being reactive. I'm just going to take action. I'm not going to sit there idly worrying and being up at night. I'm going to meet things with acceptance and grace and move forward and make a plan to move forward, not just react to things. So if something happened on the job or it's not going well, I'm not going to just find any other job just to get out of that situation and then just stay there because I have a job. I'm going to figure out what career, what type of place I want to work, what type of people I want to be surrounded by. And I'm going to start interviewing, and I'm not going to take a job until it feels right. Or I'm not going to go, it's like going out and interviewing, and if you don't get a job, just like, oh, forget, like the first interview you go on, like you don't get the job, just being like, that was humiliating, and I'm not doing that anymore. I'm just going to stay in this job because I just can't deal with that rejection. Whereas it's kind of like, well, maybe that job wasn't right for you. It's great practice to interview, and then that way you get experience, and that way you're polished for the job that is the right fit for you. You're not allowing a knee-jerk reaction or one negative experience to completely derail you and get you off course. So for some of you, there is a little bit of analysis paralysis going on, some writer's block, you were up, you just couldn't make a decision. You couldn't figure out what to do. And a lot of times in those situations, it is to stop. It's like if you're trying to write a paper and you do the word, or I mean, I read this in this deck as writer's block. Like you can't get your thoughts together. You can't get it sorted out. And even this ace is like you're having trouble figuring out the bottom line. And you need to make a decision. And I think the way you're going to make that decision is by putting it on the back burner. Like, I am not going to make this decision until January 1st. And training yourself to stop. It doesn't mean you can't think about it. You're not going to be obsessing about it. You're not going to be worrying about it. You're just going to put it on the back burner. It's like when I've had a paper to write and I've done all my work, I know what I want to say, but I can't make a coherent sentence to save my soul. And I would sit there getting so frustrated. And finally I'd be like, you know what? I'm going to go take a walk because I'm not being productive. It's just, this is not productive and it's a waste of time and energy. And I'd go out for a walk and listen to a podcast and whatever. And all of a sudden I'd come back and it would just flow. It would just all have fit into place. So giving yourself the time and space you need, and just sort of allowing things to come instead of trying to force it. And then the decision will come pretty easily. It's kind of like, I don't know if I've told this story to you guys, but I just got a new job actually, but I worked in oncology for 17 years and the last 11 in clinical research. And they would have these meetings called tumor boards where all the different disciplines of physicians, research, nursing, social work, familial cancer program. I mean, anyone and everyone that could have be a part of the patient's care would all get in a room together and they would present the case and they would talk about it and figure out, and they would get to a point, I mean, we don't know how to cure lots of cancers and there is only so much evidence and sometimes they just don't know what to do. And people would be like, well, there's this paper and we can extrapolate from that. And sometimes you get to a point where like, okay, what was the decision? Like, and they've almost made it more confusing, but trying to figure out what to do. And all of a sudden there was this magic moment when one of the doctors would be like, if this was my husband, my brother, my father, my sister, my mother, this is what I would do. And it was just like, and everyone, I mean, all the tension would go, all the, mental confusion and like struggling everything would quiet and it would be like, yep, that's obviously the patient has the final decision, but like, that's the best way to proceed. That's what makes the most sense. That's what feels right. It just gets very simplified and all that struggling goes away. So it's some sort of situation where you've been trying to figure this out and it's just kind of like, once you can calm all that background noise and, you can get to the simplest common denominator and make a decision. And then it's kind of like, woohoo, watch out. Here we come. Knight of Wands with this Chariot. And it's like, you know how to proceed. So leaving, Virgo, you will know and you guys can be analysis paralysis, even though you're an earth sign, not a sword sign. The thoughts, you guys can get bogged down in the details, right? And it can be frustrating for you. I know because you guys you guys get stuff done. You are not a lazy sign, but it could, again, the devil, you can get too caught up in the details, and it's like, it's just things are going to come together. And you also have the Queen of Wands. And she's determined when she's going to make something happen. She's basically like in the chariot driving those horses. Like, she's like, I know where I'm going and nothing's going to deter me. So once you can get that clarity, that different perspective, so that things become much become simplified. It's like you won't feel overburdened with juggling all these things, and you won't feel like, for me, the strength card in reverse is white knuckling it. It's not the strength of surrender and of vulnerability. It's like, I'm going to hold this together and I'm going to white knuckle it and making it happen. It's like that, because that's not really, you can't hold everything together out of sheer like stress. You know what I mean? Like, so just letting that all go and be like, I can't control everything. I can't keep all the pieces together for everyone and everything. And here's what I know is most important and what I need to do. And now I can move forward with that knowledge. And it's moving forward with enthusiasm, inspiration, passion, excitement. So there's something very good on the other side of this struggle with whatever decision and whatever area of your life you're trying to make. So thank you so much, VirgO. Take care.